Hello, this is Sanne, and you're watching my very first time-lapse video with a voiceover that I'm going to upload on YouTube. This piece is called Fawn, and I used Prismacolor colored pencils, and also in the end I used some Copic markers just to save a little time. This is actually the very first time that I used this paper. It's Strathmore Tone 10 paper, and I really like it a lot. The technique I'm using is called burnishing. You can see I start with a very soft layer of colored pencils, and I keep adding more and more colors and slightly increasing my pressure. Since I didn't have a reference photo nor a clear vision in my mind what she's going to look like in the end, it took me quite a while to figure out what kind of colors I'm going to use for the shadows and for the highlights, and I think it took me twice as much time to finish the left side of her face in comparison to her right side. I actually had a really hard time to develop a color scheme for this piece, so that's why you see me moving on to her mouth and back to her nose, then back to her eyes, just to give me a little bit more time to figure out what I'm going to do next. When I started drawing many moons ago, I always had in my mind that I wanted to be really good at photorealism, and I wanted my drawings to look just like a photograph. But somehow in the last couple of years, I would say, I kind of got bored with that, because it takes so much time to actually achieve something like photorealism. Don't get me wrong, I'm not there yet, and there's also nothing wrong trying to achieve that, but I think I really need to try something else for now. I like my drawings to look very smooth, especially when it comes to skin tones, so I block in all the colors for the highlights and for the shadows, and in the end I'm going to use a lighter colored pencil to blend it all together. Only in the last layer, when I try to blend all the colors together, I will really use some heavy pressure with my pencil. In this drawing, however, I choose to not make it as smooth as I would usually do, because I thought this would look a little bit more interesting. If you start too early with using heavy pressure, you will not achieve a very smooth look, because you can't get rid of the single pencil strokes on your paper. That's why you need to go easy with the pressure. Also keep in mind, this really needs time, so be patient with yourself. Here started with the other half of the face, and you will see it took me less time to finish that, because I finally knew what colors I'm going to use. This drawing took me about 8 hours, I guess, to finish, and if I do my commissions in colored pencils, I usually need about 30 to 40 hours, so this was kind of relaxing to do. Sometimes you can see me using a tissue or even my fingers. This helps to blend the colors into each other. I couldn't wait to finally start with the headpiece, and now you can see what happens if you get impatient. her skin on the neck really doesn't look very smooth, not what I usually like to do. And if I had taken more time to slowly develop the right values for the shadows and the highlights on her neck, it would have gotten to a much smoother look. On the other hand, as I said before, it does look a little bit more interesting. I had so much fun with this headpiece, and those are actually my very first mushrooms I have ever drawn. I really don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm really enjoying it. Learning how to draw is really a trial and error process, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. In this case I got a little bit lucky. At first I wanted to do a floral headpiece with nice flowers, but I have to admit I'm not really good in drawing flowers, and that's why I usually choose to do something else. And here's a little fun fact about me. If you see me adding flowers in any of my paintings or drawings, that just means I couldn't come up with a better idea. For those little tiny white hairs, I also used a white gel marker, I guess. I don't know how you say that in English, but it's basically just a white pen. I also used it for the highlights in her eyes and the little dots on the mushrooms. In the beginning I told you I'm going to use some Copic markers, and that's what I did here with her hair. I basically just use it as a base to draw over with my colored pencils. It saves time and also it saves pencils a lot. So this is actually almost the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy it and my heavy German accent wasn't too bad. If you have any suggestions or recommendations what I could do better or what you would like to see from me in a future video, just let me know in the comments below. Bye!